Most people ruin their weight loss after 5 p.m. and they don't even realize it. Why? Well, because you can nail a morning workout, watch what you eat, and even get in your 10,000 plus steps daily. But if your evenings are off, that fat loss can very quickly stall. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 6 simple things that you should be doing after 5 p.m. because weight loss does not stop when the workday ends. And if we haven't met before, I'm Maria and I'm a registered dietitian whose weight loss tips have been featured in leading media outlets around the world. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure to hit subscribe because I have new videos every single week. Now, the good news is that evenings don't have to derail all of your weight loss goals. In fact, they can be one of the best times to set the stage for your weight loss success. And this is the 6-step evening routine to help you get there. And step 1 is something that has been long debated in the weight loss community. And for a long time, we did think it was as simple as calories in and calories out. But science now is telling us that when you eat those calories is important. And meal timing really does matter, especially when it comes to metabolic health. So the first habit to try and nail is to have your dinner earlier, because meal timing and when you eat really does matter. Our bodies are wired to have a 24-hour circadian rhythm, and this internal clock influences everything from how we burn calories to how we store fat. And during the day, your body is primed to move and use energy. And then at night, it naturally starts to slow down and store energy. And that is why eating late into the evenings can work against your metabolism. Think of it like this. It's not impossible to eat late at night and still manage your weight. Plenty of shift workers and frequent flyers can do this, but it does make things slightly harder, especially as we get older. And the research shows us that people who eat late at night, they tend to have higher BMIs. They tend to have lower insulin sensitivity and higher triglycerides. And interestingly, people who eat late at night, when they are losing weight, they tend to lose weight at a slower rate than those who are eating during the day. Plus, they come up with more obstacles in their weight loss journey. So you're just making things that little bit harder for yourself. And weight loss is already hard enough. So we do, where we can, where it fits our lifestyle, want to be making things easier where possible. Now, what does this look like in real life? Well, for me, what it means is that I don't skip breakfast and I don't follow any strict intermittent fasting protocols where I try not to eat anything until, we'll say, 11 a.m. or midday. Instead, I'm front-loading my calories earlier in the day, usually with a proper breakfast and a satisfying lunch. Like the saying goes, eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and supper like a pauper. And I try to stop eating about 2 to 3 hours before bed. And this way you're working with your biology and not against it. Future Maria here. I just want to let you know that I'm giving away a free Ninja Creami to one lucky viewer as a thank you for helping me reach 30,000 YouTube subscribers. It's a big milestone for me. I'll leave all the details below, but to enter, you just need to comment on the video. Thank you for helping me get to this point. Now let's get back to the nutrition video. Now, step 2 is having a balanced dinner or supper or evening meal. Because although it's the last meal of the day, it should not be an afterthought and it shouldn't be skipped altogether. What you eat here will play a role in how full you feel later in the evening, how full you feel the next morning when you wake up, and even how you sleep, because we don't want to be waking up in the middle of the night hungry. Now, your dinner, it does not need to be super heavy, but it shouldn't necessarily be a very light salad either. I usually say make it slightly lighter than lunch, but not non-existent. What you really want is a good source of protein, because protein at night before bed has actually been shown to make you feel less hungry the very next morning. So you're going to wake up less ravenous, which is also a win. Plus, if you're working out, which you should be if you're on a weight management journey, when you go to sleep, this is when your body's muscles actually repair and grow. And giving them some protein to feed on overnight is hugely helpful. Now, if you're struggling with getting in enough protein, I would highly recommend following me over on Instagram, where I share a lot of high protein, easy recipes. Plus, I have a free recipe ebook, which I will leave linked in the description box down below. And when it comes to carbohydrates, if you're somebody who is trying to manage your carb intake, dinner is usually the meal that I would suggest people to choose as the one to go a little bit lighter on here. So maybe if you had oats for breakfast in the morning and you had some wholemeal bread in a sandwich for lunch, then at dinner you might not necessarily need a big portion of rice or potatoes or pasta. But again, this is going to be individual to you. I actually am planning on doing a whole video about carbohydrates and about how to calculate how much you need. If that sounds like something that you would like me to make and sounds like of interest, comment below and let me know, and then I'll know to make that video. But this is the meal where you may be able to afford going a little bit lighter, but you can still load up on fiber-rich vegetables, roasted veggies, all that kind of stuff here too. And another thing I do want to say here is if you are like me and you tend to always crave something maybe sweet before bed or after dinner, sometimes it's actually okay to factor this in and allow yourself to have it, but try to do so intentionally. What I see clients do time and time again is they tell themselves that they're not allowed to have something like that chocolate that they really crave in the evening. And what they end up doing is they go around to all the cupboards, they end up having a few rice cakes, having a few nuts, snacking on something else in the fridge, and then maybe they still end up just eventually having the chocolate. Whereas they would have been better off just allowing themselves to have the chocolate and not everything else beforehand as well, and really savoring it and enjoying it. So sometimes it's okay to intentionally allow yourself and build these into your plan. And if you're somebody who has dinner at, we'll say 5 or 6 p.m, and then you find yourself ready to go to bed and you do find yourself quite hungry, it's not good to go to bed hungry if you know that it means you're going to end up waking up and not getting a good night's sleep, because sleep is crucial here too. So for some of us, we will need to factor in a bedtime snack. And these will not completely ruin your weight loss goals, but it is good to choose them wisely. I have a whole other video on this topic, and I have a whole article going through some of my favorite bedtime snacks, which I'll leave everything linked below. But again, things like protein before bed will make you less hungry the next morning. Or my favorite bedtime snack, it's not high in protein, so I pair it with something like Greek yogurt, but it's 2 kiwi fruits, because kiwi has been shown to help with sleep, and it's incredibly good at keeping your bowels regular. And if you're somebody who struggles with bloating, it has an enzyme called actinitin, which helps break down food. So that is my secret little bedtime snack. So you don't want to be allowing yourself to go to bed ravenous. So choose a bedtime snack if you really need to, and choose it wisely. Now, step 3 is slightly contradicting what I just said, but remember that bedtime snack is for physical hunger if you think you're going to wake up in the middle of the night because you don't have enough food in your system for a good night's sleep. Where step 3 comes in is what I want you to do is try to have a no snacking zone in the evenings after your dinner, or try to abide this whole dinner and done or 7 p.m. kitchen closed. Because for most of us, snacking in the evening or late at night isn't due to physical hunger, especially if you have had a decent breakfast, a decent lunch, and snacks during the day where needed. Usually when we're eating late in the evenings or late at night, it's out of boredom, emotion, or comfort or habit. So sometimes having the mentality that at 7 p.m. I close the kitchen, or I enter my safe space, which is maybe watching Netflix on the couch, but that is a no snack zone. Sometimes having some boundaries, having these in place can make things a little bit easier. This might take a little bit of time to adjust and get used to. I always find after Christmas is usually that time where the celebrations, the chips, the snacks, these are all just had in front of the TV in the evenings. And come January, when you're trying to get rid of it, it's really hard, but every week it starts to get a little bit easier. So the first few nights that you try to have a snack-free zone, it's going to be hard. That is when your willpower is going to be tested the most. But once you do it 2-3 nights in a row, you start to gain more confidence that you've done it 2 to 3 times already, and you can keep doing it. And it's a good practice to get into is thinking about, why am I eating this? Am I physically hungry, or am I just eating it out of routine? Now, step 4 is very easy, but it's to go for an after dinner evening walk, even if it is just 5 to 10 minutes. Just go outside your front door, walk to the end of the road, and come back. This can be one of the most simplest yet effective tools for weight loss. And it's very good for your mental health, especially after a long day at work. You might not feel like it at the time, but I guarantee that you will feel better when you come back in afterwards. It's free, it doesn't require a gym membership, and you can do it almost anywhere. Obviously, if it is bucketing out rain outside, it might not make sense, but you get what I'm trying to say. But this little evening walk will help you get in more steps. It will help you with your digestion, it will help you sleep better, and it will help with your blood sugar regulation too. I would try to aim for a brisk 15 to 30 minute walk if you can, but even just 5 to 10 minutes is a really good starting point too. Now, step 5, and one of the most important ones for me personally, and for the clients that I work with that see the most weight loss success, is they take some time every evening to plan and prepare for the next day. Failing to plan is planning to fail, as the saying goes. It can be so helpful to map out what your next day is going to look like. This might mean prepping a breakfast or a lunch that you can grab. Or if you know the next day is going to be particularly busy, you're going to be on the road, or you have a lot of meetings. It's about thinking ahead to the challenges that you may face, the temptations that might come up, and proactively coming up with strategies to tackle these so you're not just left not knowing what to do in a rush the next day. Ideally, you want to make the hard decisions now so it's easier to follow through with them the next day. And this might sound so simple, but it is really one of the most powerful habits that people who manage their weight and keep their weight off do regularly. And all it takes is 5 to 10 minutes the night before to plan and prep for the next day. This is particularly good if you find that you're in maybe a chaotic stage of life, like you have loads of kids, or you're trying to juggle all these different commitments and no day ever goes to plan. This is where you want to have backup strategies in place ahead of time before you're hit with all of the chaos the next day. And it is really because when life does get challenging, the easiest thing to default to is usually the more unhealthy option. It's the grabbing lunch out. It's the not even sitting down to have a meal and just snacking or grazing all day instead. It's ending up not going to the gym because your schedule just got so all over the place that you weren't able to factor it in. So instead, look at your schedule. See, can you fit in 5-minute walks between meetings? Can you meet that friend to go for a walk instead? Have you just tried to fit in too much to the next day and it's not realistic? Or do you know that tomorrow it's somebody's birthday in work, so there's going to be a big box of donuts, and maybe it's going to be really hard for you to resist that temptation, but if you have had a solid breakfast beforehand, you won't be hungry and it'll be a little bit easier. It's all of these little things that over time really help get you those big results. So once you have identified those sticky points, you can decide in advance how you're going to handle them. Basically, make your decisions now when your brain is calm and logical. So tomorrow, when you're rushed and faced with temptation, you have already done the hard thinking. Another thing that I like to do is visualize your next day. If you plan to go to the gym, visualize it. Okay, I can see my alarm going off at 6 a.m. and I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to the gym. We know that mental rehearsal improves execution, especially when you're trying to build in a new habit. So if you close your night by mentally walking through your morning routine, you're going to wake up more aligned. Now, we all set alarms to wake up in the morning. But if you're trying to lose weight, I honestly think it's just as important to set an alarm to go to bed at night too. Because it's very easy for our evenings to disappear between scrolling on our phones or watching another episode on Netflix that quickly becomes 2 to 3 episodes. And suddenly the evening is gone, it's 11 p.m. at night and you need to wake up again in a few hours. But when you have a little wind down alarm, like set it for 9:30 p.m. if your goal is to be in bed by 10:30 p.m, it can be used as a gentle reminder. It's time to start wrapping up whatever you're doing. It's time to put your phone on charge and away for the night. It's time to put on your pajamas, do your skincare, wash your face, get ready for bed. But try to find something that actually helps you just wind down. And this is important because sleep has such a big impact on our hunger hormones. If you're not sleeping properly, you're going to feel hungrier the next day and you are going to be craving foods that are high in fat and high in sugar. So that bedtime alarm is going to be there to help you get in that consistent sleep that you really, really do need. When it comes to weight loss, I see many people being so prescriptive with their exercise plan and with their diet plan, but you should be prescriptive with your sleep just as much as all of the other things. Now, what you do as part of this wind down routine is really up to you, whether that is journaling or taking extra time to do your skincare, whatever makes you feel relaxed. But I do highly advise that one thing you try and do is limit your screens, putting away your phone, shutting down your laptop. And this is one reason because of the blue light, but also because it's just very stimulating. You shouldn't be checking your emails before bed. You shouldn't be going on social media, seeing all of these different things that's just keeping you really stimulated all of the time. So really try to switch off from devices at least an hour before you go to bed. I now don't charge my phone in my room. I put it outside, and this has been so helpful to just my overall sleep, but mental space too, because we don't realize it, but every time you open Instagram, there's a little bit of anxiety, or it's just so much overwhelmed these days. There's just so much to take in that just putting it away and calming the noise, calming the constant updates that are always in your face is just so helpful for everything beyond just weight. And there we have it, the 6 steps you should be doing between your 5 to 9 p.m. So to quickly recap, I want you to be having your evening meal earlier and make sure that it is a balanced meal where you really prioritize protein. You can go a little bit lighter on carbs if you need to, but keep filling up with your fiber-rich veggies. Consider creating a no snack zone or having a kitchen closed benchmark, maybe 7 p.m. Get moving with an after dinner 5 to 10 minute stroll, longer if you can. Take 5 to 10 minutes to plan for the next day and set an alarm for going to bed. Your bedtime alarm is just as important as your morning alarm. And by making some of these small intentional changes, you don't have to do all of them, but even managing to do a few, you can turn this often overlooked time of the day into an opportunity to support your long-term goals. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I'm going to leave another one on the screen here that YouTube has personally recommended for you because it thinks you would like to watch it next. And I'd also highly recommend checking out my bedtime snacks video, because I'm gonna guess that you would like that one too. As always, thank you very much for watching. Comment below if you have any topic you would like me to cover in a future video, and I will see you again next week. Thanks for watching.